So you can tell I'm more than just your average fan of Hilton Honors, their credit cards, their hotels, everything. In fact, I have a few of their credit cards that I've accumulated over the years that have given me a ton of value. In fact, I even have their gift cards, which don't worry about the numbers on there. I've already used that. So don't try to steal from me. But the main thing about this video today, and I wanted to showcase, is something that's not being talked about enough in the credit card community. One of my favorite welcome offers has just come back on the Hilton Honors credit cards, and that being the free night certificates that are coming on the welcome offers right now. That's right. If you look right here, the standard Hilton Honors American Express credit card, it is a $0 no annual fee card. And if you spend just $2,000 in the first 6 months of opening this card, so about $350 every single month, you're going to be getting back 70,000 Hilton Honors bonus points plus a free night certificate. And that is the main point of this video today. I wanted to go through all of the value that I've actually gotten from free night awards over the years, how I've used them, how I've maximized them, and exactly how you could as well in the future. And just knowing everything associated with free night awards, because they are really, really powerful. And this isn't the only card that comes with it. In fact, on the Hilton Honors Surpass card, you spend just $1,000 more, so 3K in the first 6 months, and you're going to be getting 130,000 points, so 60,000 more. And again, you're getting that free night award. And in my estimation, free night awards and how I've actually used it over the years have been valued anywhere between like $350 and probably about $550 worth of actual value. So for a card that, at least for here, is a no annual fee, that's some easy value back for just a 2K spend. And for the Surpass card, even with an annual fee of $150, I mean, you're coming out plus positive many years over with this welcome offer. And not only that, but the Hilton Aspire card, while the welcome offer does not come with the free night certificate, this card, just by paying the $550 annual fee every single year, you're also going to be getting a free night award every single time you use it. So whether you get any of these three credit cards right now, because the offer ends 7/3/24, so we just have a couple of weeks before this ends, you're going to have a free night certificate to use, and I want to show you the best ways to use them. So the first thing is, there's a couple things to know with the free night certificate. So from the base level, as soon as you hit your welcome offer, spend a couple grand, get the free night certificate, it usually posts to your account within a couple of weeks. I think for me specifically, it might have happened within a week. So within a week, on the bottom of your app, you'll actually see free night award, and then you'll actually be able to use that. What a lot of people don't know is that when you get a free night award, you actually have to call in. That's right. You have to, back in the day, right? We have to call in to make a reservation. So you call Hilton, say, I want to stay at this particular property in the future. Okay, cool. I want to use my free night certificate, and they'll be able to facilitate that all completely over the phone. Now, there's a couple things to know as well. So once you actually get that free night certificate issued to you, it is supposed to be used within the first 12 months. So a full year you have to actually use it. But what a lot of people don't know, and one thing I was actually able to do, is you could actually extend your free night certificate. That's right. You can actually see right here. If you look online, a lot of people will say like, oh, it can be extended by 2 weeks or what have you. And that's exactly what they actually did for me. They were able to extend it by 2 weeks. So 12 months and 2 weeks. But I've heard more recently that I don't think anybody else is even aware of, that you can actually call in more recently, like the last couple of months, and they're able to extend that further, like upwards to a month. Of course, not fully backed. I haven't seen a lot of people do this, but at least it's happened for one person, and it could probably happen for you. So just know you can at least extend it minimum for 2 weeks, but more than likely you'll also be able to extend that for an additional 2 weeks. And this is something that actually happened to me. I remember when I went to go use my free night certificate, I called on Hilton and I was like, oh, can I book it out past the 12 months? Like, book it now, like if it's the 11th month, but I will end up doing the stay on the 13th month, to which they said, no, you can't do that. It has to be used, and you actually have to stay at that hotel within the first 12 months. Cool. But this extension does help with that a good amount. And it's just good to know that you can actually do that. Now, some people might be thinking like, okay, so where can I actually use these free night certificates? And in just a second, I'm going to show you like a bunch of different hotels that either I've used them in or would use them in the future. And I'm talking different countries, different states, a lot of really nice places, and a lot of Waldorf Astorias. So really good experiences. But one thing to actually note before actually using this is something that also affected me when I went to use it for the first time. And what a lot of people don't realize is, even though it says a lot of things online, or people online, they'll say, oh, it is an uncapped free night certificate, right? There's no cap to it. But technically there is. And while it might be true in that it is uncapped in the way that they're saying, there's a little bit of a nuance to it that I feel like has gotten lost over the years and something I wanted to just readdress. So the first thing is when you're actually booking, you can see right here, there's a couple differences, right? So if I book this room right here, if I just go a little bit further and if I go into there, it says standard room reward, right? Standard room reward, 80,000 points a night. This means if it is a standard room, if you see this verbiage, you can use your free night certificate at the stay. Doesn't matter how many points a night. This could be, a million points a night. It's not actually going to happen that way. But if this says standard room reward, you can use your free night certificate there. And where that actually ends up changing is if you were to book a different room, like this one more specifically. If you go into it, now we see something different. Premium room rewards, right? And if it says that, you cannot use your free night certificate there. So for the most part, they are allowing you to use your free night certificate on lower level rooms, not lower level stays, because you can use them at really nice properties, but just lower level rooms within that property. And of course, you could always be upgraded after the fact, but you have to book the standard room option. So just know that there is that discrepancy as well. It's not totally uncapped, but I digress. Now, another question I see out in the world when people are talking about the free night certificates is, can I combine them if I have multiple of them or just different stays? And the answer to that is yes. If you have multiple free night certificates, you can use that towards multiple stays. So 3 free night certificates, you call Hilton, say, I want to use all 3 for these 3 nights that I'm going to stay at this particular hotel or a bunch of different hotels, what have you. So you can use them in back-to-back stays. You could also use them in conjunction with paid stays, or if you're going to book with points or and what have you, you can use it in conjunction with all of that as well. I know there's a lot of people out there who are worried, like, what if I book through American Express's fine hotels and resorts? Can I use that, FHR credit and combine that with a free night certificate? And the answer to that is, well, yes, but you'll probably get not the same room. It's possible they can combine the same rooms, but more than likely you could just use your free night certificate and hope that the front desk will allow you to like stay in the same room as both reservations. But again, I digress. That's getting a little bit more into the weeds. And I know some people are wondering, like, okay, what else can I do with my free night certificate? Can I gift it to somebody? Can I book it on someone's behalf? And the answer to that is, well, unfortunately, no. You cannot actually gift your free night certificates with Hilton, unfortunately, like you can with Hyatt. Hiltons cannot be gifted in this way. However, there are a lot of reports of people saying, like, you could actually book it on someone else's behalf. A lot of the times you just have to call into the hotel to make sure you add that person to your reservation, and that it is okay if that person does check in behalf of you. Just make sure to call the hotels to make sure it works with them. And then one last thing, and one thing I learned from the points guy right here, is that there are some free night certificates that can't be redeemed at certain Hilton hotels. They pretty much could use anywhere aside from certain properties. They mentioned Hilton Grand Vacations, which we know is like their timeshare property, so that makes sense, or their other distinctive properties, like some of their destination brands and what have you. And they do have a full list on their website, even though this link is no longer working. But for the most part, not many people are trying to use a free net certificate at a timeshare property. They're usually using them at Conrad's, Waldorf Astoria's, LXR's, all these different high-level brands, right? But of course, we're talking about us today, right? We're talking about how are we going to use our free night certificates for max value. So now I want to show you exactly where I've used mine over the years, some of my best stays I've ever done, and then also where, if I had free night certificates now, where I would use them in the future. And I'm talking different countries, all these different things, and all the value associated with some little bit of tips here and there. So the first place is, you guys might have seen, but the Mills House Hotel. This is where I used my first ever free night certificate, and I really appreciated the stay. I did a whole video on it talking about the stay, and it's a great freaking location, man. It's right in the heart of downtown Queen Street, Charleston, South Carolina, and it's a really cool place. And I'll give you a little tip here and something that's interesting and how it was a little bit strategic in using this free night certificate at this property. Now, remember what I said earlier about these certain credit cards, right? The Hilton Surpass card, and that's exactly where I got my free night certificate in the first place. And where I was a little bit strategic is that this card gives you complimentary gold status just by keeping the card open. And we know gold status is good for a lot of different things. Like you could possibly get better room upgrades, hopefully, right? You can get bonuses on your base points that you're staying every single night. And one of the most important things, and my favorite thing about gold status, is the Hilton dining credits. That's right. If you're staying at any of these brands right here, you're going to be getting on-site property credits just by being gold status. That's right. So you're only getting this with the Hilton Surpass, the Hilton Aspire card, and with the Amex Platinum card to get that complimentary Hilton Gold or Diamond status. So, for example, if you are a Hilton Gold status and you're staying at a Hilton Garden Inn, If you have one person on your reservation, so just you and you're booking it, you're going to be getting $10 per day at the on-site either restaurant or just, like the snack bar that they have down below. I remember many years ago when I used to book a lot more Hilton Garden Inns, I would actually use my my $10 credit to buy 5 water bottles because each one was $2 each, and that was pretty cool. And then if you actually have one other person on your reservation, 2 guests, you're going to get $20. And newsflash, if you're somebody who's staying at these properties and you're gold status and you're not adding a second person onto your reservation, you're really losing out on a lot of money because they don't care who it is. You just put a name down and they give you the extra money. So if you have nobody else in the world, just say Anthony Venture staying with you. I guarantee you they'll give you some extra credits, right? And if you look at some of these other brands like the Waldorf Astoria, LXR, Conrad, that's up to $50 per day. And then more specifically, and my point with all of this is these brands right here, which are a little bit more mid-tier Hilton hotels. So Curio is the one that I was really looking at. And Curio is going to be giving you $30 per day. Side note, this is for US only. If you are abroad, you're going to be getting complimentary continental breakfast. So whatever the amount allotted they actually give you in those properties abroad is what they're going to give you for breakfast. But here it's a dollar amount. There it's a food amount or a pallet amount or whatever they're actually serving that morning at that breakfast. So one of the main things that I mentioned earlier, being a little strategic, is the Mills House happens to be a Curio hotel. So I knew that this place, like them, where they were just hanging out, getting wine and drinks and everything, I knew I was able to use my $30 credit per day at that on-site bar and restaurant, which you could see down below here. So that being a little bit strategic on where you're using a free night certificates can give you excess value depending on your status as well. Now, the Mills House was interesting because, well, you look at the Mills House here, you could actually see that it's not the most pricey. And I will definitely say this is something I learned in hindsight and maybe saving your free night certificates for maybe slightly more expensive properties. Because if you look right here, if I were to pay cash for this exact stay, it would end up being with taxes and fees $368. Okay, cool. So that means I used my free night certificate on a property that would be $368. But as you're going to see in just a second, there are properties upwards to $500, $600, $700, even $1,000 per night that you can still use your free night certificate at, which is 3x the value of this Hilton Curio Collection Mills House, right? But I don't regret the stay at all, but it's just something to learn in hindsight. And another way to look at it is like, well, in one way, the cash price is a little bit cheaper, but if you actually look right here, 80,000 points per night is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that is at a minimum worth about $400 in cash travel value. 80,000 points is a good amount. So if you were to supplement and you had to stay here with a free night certificate, I'm not going to fault you with that because that's a lot of freaking points per night for sure. But in this case, if you actually see really cheap properties, sometimes it's worth paying in cash. But this is a property you could use your free night certificate at. I thought it was an amazing stay. And would I use it there in the future? No, I'd probably pay cash, but definitely don't regret it as well because it was a great property. Another one did this recently, the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C. My favorite of all time hotel stays, favorite Hilton hotel, any hotel of any kind stay I've done in my entire life thus far. And yes, you actually can see right here, standard room reward. You can use a free night certificate at this specific property. Just a whopping 110,000 points a night, you can use your free night certificate and save your points and save your cash. And let's actually see this hotel itself. I mean, if you look at some of these pictures here, and of course, if you watched my video on it, you know how ridiculous this hotel actually is. I mean, look at these freaking rooms here. I mean, this downstairs lobby is the best I've ever seen. The rooms, amazing, expansive, huge, great people, everything. Now let's see what an actual cash price would be. Oh man. That's right. That's right. Oh man. For these ones, these two specifically, 110,000 per night, you can use a free night certificate at these properties. So let's pick this one here, the deluxe 2 queen beds. So yes, standard room. It says it right here. We can use this certificate here. And with taxes and fees, it's a measly, just $741.15. And matter of fact, this is exactly what CJ, our good friend CJ, did when we went to the Waldorf Astoria. He used his Hilton free night certificate for a room just like this. In fact, his room was actually upgraded via his Hilton Gold status, and he got a over $2,000 to $3,000 room that he booked with his free night certificate. So friggin' amazing, absolutely. Here's another property, the Oceana Santa Monica LXR hotels. Remember LXR? That was the brand that also gave you $50 per day in dining credits. So just keep that in mind. Hotel details. Let's check out some of these pictures here. Very, very nice. Right on the water of Santa Monica. Amazing property and very, very expensive. In fact, our very own Ninja, I did a whole a podcast with him where he actually used his free night certificate at this specific hotel, and he absolutely does not regret it. And if we want to look at some of the cash prices here, absolutely freaking insane at this Oceana King, 105,000 points per night. Again, very similar to the Waldorf Astoria, and rates at $1,091 a night. Let's see, after taxes and fees, yeah, just $1,417.89. That's it. That's it for a room like this. And from what I heard from Ninja, he said he absolutely does not regret this stay. He does not regret using a free night certificate here, and thinks he got a lot of money worth of just using it at this specific property. And who's to say he can't value it the way he wants to value it? And just again to reiterate, we're talking about cards here like this one. The Hilton honors no annual fee. You spend $2,000 on the card in 6 months, which pretty much everyone can do, 350 a month, and you're getting a free night award that you can use towards these three properties I talked about already. And that really is just infinite, infinite value. In fact, I am really upset that I already have both of these cards, and my wife also has both of these cards, which means I can no longer get awesome welcome offers like this again, but you still can. And if you are interested already, before we actually get into international travel and where you can use it and where I would actually use it abroad, of course, my personal link is down in the pinned comment below. And of course, if you use that, I will salute you forever. So thank you so much for using that. And let me know where you're going to use your free night certificate if you happen to pick it up right after watching this video. But where I was thinking, if I had a free night certificate and where I would absolutely use it, would actually be this place right here. So check this out. This is the Rome Cavalieri. It's the Waldorf Astoria in Rome, baby. And I'm just going to play this video right here. Let's see what this place actually offers. I mean, come on, man. That guy, he used a free night certificate here. He's having a good time. I mean, look at the whole city just overlooking your actual hotel stay and nestled in the waters here, nestled in the forest here. It's an absolutely amazing property, at least from what I could see from the videos. And of course, we've got some Ferrari, some Lamborghinis coming in. I mean, come on, dining there? Are you kidding? I want to do this so bad. Let me have another free night certificate so I could do this. I want to be in this hot tub so I can overlook the whole city and make believe like I'm gonna own the city one day. I mean, come on, this is just so. This is an amazing property, and I wanted to show the actual cash prices and everything associated. And of course, you have to play around with dates sometimes, depending when you're actually going. But look right here, this King Deluxe room. Let's see if they actually have some pictures. I mean, come on, that's just just grand, right? It's just grand. 538 square feet, so a pretty decent sized room for 80,000 points per night. And just to make sure, yes, it is a standard room reward. So yes, you can book this hotel with a free night certificate. And let's see what the actual cash price would be for this hotel. So it looks like just 441 euros. And let's actually see what that would cost. 441 euros to USD, which would be about $500 USD for this hotel. And honestly, I don't think anyone would blame you for staying at this property and using a free night certificate here if you have them, especially if you have multiple of them to stay here. I mean, come on. That is just, again, before I move on to the next one, just look at this, man. I can't. I can't. You got stars in the ceiling. I can't. It's too good. Let me get off of this because I'm just getting too excited. So that's definitely another place you can think of. And again, if you have places that you are dreaming of going to, different countries, what have you, take a look around, see what hotels you might like, and see if you could actually use a free night certificate there. Another place that I've heard from people that is also a very nice property is the Conrad in Tokyo. Now, again, I have no experience. I've never been to Japan, but from what people have told me, people really like this property itself, and looks pretty nice just via some of the pictures here. I mean, pretty cool. Got some wellness rooms, etc., etc. And let's see right here. So if we want the King Room City, let's see what kind of pictures we got here. All right, so a standard suite, but it looks like it's probably in the heart of a downtown area. Let's see what the actual rates are. Can we use a free night certificate here? And yes, we can. 95K a night or a free night certificate. Hell yeah. And then let's see the actual cash price for this stay. All right, let's see. Let's do a quick conversion. 94,000 yen to USD. All right, $600. 600 USD every single night. So I would probably say that's a good redemption. I would probably say that's pretty up there For sure. Here's something I actually like to do occasionally as well. Like if I see that there's a million different Hilton hotels in a particular area and I really don't know where I actually want to stay, I'll actually go and filter here. And I'll filter by the specific brand. And I just happen to be pretty familiar with a lot of these different brands. And I know that there are some that I really like. I love Tapestries, I love Waldorfs, I like LXR properties, and even Conrads, right? And if I just really like these particular brands, I can hit apply filters and it's only going to give me these particular properties. And I know that there is only one of those brands in Tokyo, which is going to be that Conrad we just mentioned. So it's something that kind of narrow down your search. And I have a whole video talking about every single brand and my opinion on them. So if you want to watch that, check it out after this. So it could help your decision making in the future. And honestly, don't just take my limited word for it. There are many different properties that I am just totally unaware of. Matter of fact, this guy right here, freaking Myler, he actually put together 60 plus of the best places to use a free night certificate worldwide. And you can actually see he goes through a bunch of different properties here, like the Arizona Biltmore and one's in California. In fact, he actually mentions the Oceana one that I mentioned earlier, Waldorf Stories in Beverly Hills, Florida, Georgia, all these different places. And he actually mentions the Mills House. Let's go, baby. We made it onto the list with South Carolina. And then, of course, he's going overseas as well. So, honestly, just go through this list, see what any properties you might like in whatever country you're trying to go to, and just have some fun with it. And yes, you can use it at the Hilton Maldives. That's right. You can use it there. I know everybody loves to hear about the Maldives. But again, just to reiterate, if you guys do want to pick up the Surpass card, the Hilton Honors card, even the Aspire, but really I would probably pick up one of these first two cards before this offer ends on the 31st. So this way you can spend just, a couple $1,000s, get a free night certificate. You might as well. Honestly, I think it's just like the easiest value out there currently. And honestly, that's why I picked these cards up four times over the past couple of years. And again, if you use my link, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if you're approved and where you're going to use that free night certificate, and I will salute you forever. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.